This is Georgian Crossroads, and I'm Byrne Power. And today what we're going to do is going to explore, well, we're going to get outside is what we're going to do. A lot of people are kind of stuck indoors or stuck with limited mobility of where they can go. And what I'm going to do is take you outside to the mountain directly behind my house, Mtatsminda. We're going to get all the way to the top, which is where the funicular rail ends up. And we're going to take that back. So I don't exactly know exactly where we're going, and you will see that in this video. I did film two hikes up the mountain last year, and this seems like a good time to take you along with me, and you can pray with me that I get back safely. So, what's the best way to get to Mtatsminda? Get out at the Rustaveli metro stop, then walk up past the McDonald's, up Kakabadzeabi Street, all the way to the end, and there'll be a pathway that leads out up Zaldistanishvili Lane, which really looks like this. It's not much of a lane at all. It's kind of a pathway, a nice Soviet-era pathway. We'll run into these again, where they put these flat stones down. Nice street art here. And then you make your way up to the street. Now this is Kakabadze Street, not to be confused with Kakabadzeabi Street. One means brothers. This is the Russian church Saint Michael of Tver, and there's a path directly across from it that goes up, and it splits off. There's a spring if you go to your right, but if you go to the left, you will go the direction we're going today. So this is the path that comes up from St. Michael of Tver Church. It was a Russian church, and since the Soviets have left, it's been changed into a Georgian Orthodox church. But you will see this this is what a Soviet path looks like. It's not so much a dirt path as it is a kind of a flat stone and cement path. There's another path that's like this all the way down, actually two of them, all the way down from the top of Mtatsminda, the restaurants and the Funicular. And one goes to the Mama Daviti Church, also known as the Father David Church. Mama is father in Georgian, go figure, and mother is Deda. It's a long story. So the other one goes down to the Mother of Georgia statue, and those are kind of fascinating. Interestingly enough, they're long walks down these stone and cement paths. What are you going to do? They are a little tough on you, actually. I prefer the dirt paths. We will eventually get to dirt here. So, as we were going up, not many people. Now, it's a little different right now during the pandemic. You meet people all the time. But this was the end of June. Pleasant. Well, actually, this was middle of May, pleasant day, birds singing, all sorts of stuff, and it was only around here that I started to meet a few people on the way down. Hardly crowded at all. Yeah, I've got it sped up a little bit. And that we're going up further up there, but Okay, I am hulking my body up the side of the hill. I'm not a small person, as you can see, but Tbilisi is actually a great place for all sorts of odd exercise you wouldn't imagine. So, about 10 minutes ago, I was down in the town. Then I walked up to a road that's kind of just above the city, and I looked on a map and I saw this trail. Now this trail goes all the way up to the Mtatsminda, the Funicular railway station. There's also a really nice restaurant up there and a very strange old amusement park. So I don't know how far I'm going to walk. I just decided to go for a walk today, but this is one of the things about living here that's kind of an interesting thing that nobody knows about. I've run into one small family on this trip, and that's it. Okay, we continue on up the trail. Now this actually is a trail. It's they kind of split off here, and there's kind of a drop off right out here. But one of the interesting things is every morning when I'll sometimes wake up, I won't go all the way up. I might go to the spring or just a ways up the road on a trail, and most of the people up there are older men. I mean, I'm talking 70 or older, and they're up there getting exercise, which I find really fascinating. And we're not talking about, thin young men. We're talking about older guys, a little chunky. They've been eating a lot of khachapuri and khinkali, and they've spent time raising toasts and drinking wine. But I met one man. His name was Badris Sharvadze. Turned out he was a translator of several of the books on my shelves.
And then here I am publisher, and then I published all my translations.
Mm-hmm.
And at Cape Girardeau is one of the best William Faulkner centers. I am a great fan of Faulkner.
Mm-hmm.
It's, I think, one of the greatest, not only American, but world writers.
And there he goes, wandering back down. He had gone up just to get some water at the spring and then to hike back down. Good exercise. Now, this was originally from my first little journey up the side of the mountain, and it was spring, a lot of different beautiful flowers out. And during this first trip, I was starting, I'd had a good talk with this man. It actually lasted about 15 minutes, almost a half an hour. And, I felt good. I found the spring, and then I saw the other trail, which I am on. But I said, oh, okay, if I go all the way up here on the other trail, and then I'm going to go all the way to the top, I started to walk up a little, and then I realized, oh, it's going to be a major expedition. But eventually, it'll get you up to the funicular rail. And this is the view you get looking over, just at that level, where a little bit higher than where the trails split off. So I highly recommend it. My audio recorder has run out of battery power, so this might sound a bit funky. And plus, it's windy as all heck up here, which means there'll probably be some of that wind sound. But it's an absolutely spectacularly beautiful summer day here. We've been having weather that's in the 30s Celsius, in the 80s and 90s Fahrenheit, and it's just been brutal. But we've got a break here with weather that's closer to 70 or about 23, 24 degrees. And it's just spectacular. I really am appreciating this wind, seeing as I come from Alaska, and this summer has been a little difficult for me. Anyway, we are on the continuation of the trail that, I didn't feel like finishing about a month and a half ago. in May, and it's the last day of June, and we're hiking up to that tower up there, which is the television tower. It's also, this is Mtatsminda, and there's a Mtatsminda park up there, which we're not going to explore today, nor are we going to do too much with the funicular rail going up. This is just an alternative hike that isn't on any of the maps. Well, it's on some of the maps, but it's not on any of the tourist brochures, and it really should be. It's really a cool place. And it also gets you much needed exercise and a break from walking on cement. If you're here for longer than a couple of days, you might like a hike like this. And plus, once you're here, you start to see things like all of that down there. And at some point I'm going to stop and give you a real view of the city from here. But this is a great, I mean, you just, in a few minutes, within 10 minutes you are getting great views. Within a half hour it's just jaw-droppingly spectacular. So, well, that's it. Low audio quality. Enjoy it. So now this is my later trip in the end of June, as I mentioned. And one of the interesting things about this trip is what happened to the trail. We're no longer obviously on the Soviet era trail, which just basically was to get you up to the spring. Instead, there started to be questions about exactly where I was going. But, you know, it's quite obviously a trail, and there are so many trails that crisscross the side of Mtatsminda. Seems like people can't just go one way, so they go all sorts of different ways. And as you can hear, the wind is blowing fiercely. I've turned it down so you don't hear too much of that bad microphone sound. But it was pretty crazy, but the views up here were absolutely amazing. And I would say I was only about a third of the way from the road up at this point. And stop, take a quick look around. That trail? Okay, that's the way I came. Which way do I go? Let's go that way. I'm hoping I'm on the right trail here, but this seemed like the right one, and maybe it's just going to fizzle out. I don't know. It's getting weird. Oh. Well, maybe I've been on the wrong trail the whole time. Well, this is the right trail, and I haven't been on it. I was on some other alternative trail. I guess there's lots of them here. But my feeling is you can't go too far wrong. You're in Georgia. You're in Tbilisi. There's always, you'll see somebody, or all I'd have to do to get home is go downhill somehow. Well, I've arrived at this section on the trail, and it's a little puzzling. I suppose I could go down that. That looks kind of frightening. Or I could go up that. But the telephone post is up here. I thought I was on the right trail. I could be, well, the trail's going uphill. I'm going to try these ones that are going up. Hopefully I'm on the right trail. There's the their large wonder wheel, but it is not moving right now. Probably too much wind. Although that would be the best time to be up there. Okay, this seems to be the trail. And evidently I'm traveling with my shadow. Me and my shadow. Okay, which way to go?
This looks like the cheater's way here. Oh, you can't see. There's one trail here. It's not as well worn. This one looks really well worn. I'm staying on the really well worn one, because who knows where this might end. I'll probably meet that one again later. The guy just passed me while I was talking to myself. But this seems like a legitimate spot. Some sort of child's playground in the middle of the sky. Or is it a child's playground? What are these? Okay. Let's explore this. So what would this be? I don't know. What are wheels doing? I've never seen anything like this. Oh, it's some sort of mussel place here. Okay. Well, I guess this is something. I guess you step on this. Huh. Okay, oh, weights made out of cars. Where I am. Is this an official trail? Don't know. But it's pretty empty. Oh, there's more weightlifting devices.
And here is a great view of Tbilisi. Those buildings down there, we call them the mushroom buildings. They were built during the Saakashvili period, and they are some of the government buildings. That's where I went to get my permit to stay as my residence permit.
Kind of nice to be on a real trail where I don't have to worry about bears like I did in Alaska. But I'm getting closer, I can tell. The big television tower is just above me. And it looks like we're going to have a big blast of sun in a moment. There it is. It seems close, and yet it's so huge. I know I'm not really close. But I'm closer than I was. I'll get there way before the sun goes down. Sounds like, I don't know what. Could just be the wind in the tower. I wish I had my good recorder working, but you know how batteries are.
So this is the amazing view from, I would say I'm very near the top, not quite though. The television tower, just so to give you some perspective of how far it still is away. That top white circular part is about the size of a 2-story building. There's probably 2 stories worth of windows and such in that section. So next time you see it, look at that. And this is a great just side trail to look. See, so that part on top is like a 2-story building up there. So it's huge. And off is the large Ferris wheel, which I've always wanted to go in at night, but I haven't done yet.
Well, I'm at a place where there's 4 possibilities. There's one over here, one kind of here, one there. Looks like the main trail's over here, or is it? Well, I'm going that way. If I go here, I'll be right below the TV tower, which is not where I necessarily want to be, but let's go this way. And it looks like I have found civilization. This has got to be at the top somewhere. There's a fence here. Let's see which way it goes. And that should lead me to the funicular rail. These are big thistles. This is what happens when you don't trim your yard. They're like taller than me. I've never seen thistles this big. Don't want to ever again either. But I probably will. Okay, which way up? Let's try the stairs in the creaky spot over here. Typical.
So last time I was here, a few weeks back, or a few months back, you couldn't get through this way anymore. But I'm sure you can find a way through.
Maybe there's no way out.
If you go back to the fence and go the other direction towards the television tower, or down and around instead of going up the stairs.
Well, let's see if we can find a way home. Maybe over there. Or right here. Nope. I think this is the spot here. Kind of funky place a Georgian would recognize as an exit. Huh. Well, evidently, I was probably supposed to go under, but I'm here. And there's the restaurant.
So yeah, you can get through. This is Georgia. There's always a way to get through. So this is the view from the top. I'm right near the funicular restaurant and the top of the funicular rail. One of the best views, if not, no, this is the best view of Tbilisi. And I highly recommend, even if you never hike up there, taking the funicular and going up here. There's these restaurants up here, a couple of restaurants. Very good food and just an excellent place to hang out. Great at night in the summer. And there's a strange amusement park up here as well, which isn't good so much for great rides as much as it is just for, it was built late period Soviet era. And it's kind of like googie architecture mixed with fantasy elements unrelated to anything you've ever seen before. And so this is going back on the funicular going down. That's the Mama Deviti Church there. And just looking around with the other visitors up there. And you can do this yourself. Doesn't take that long. All right, so we are back. And somehow we made it. You really can't get lost. If you're one of those people who thinks you're going to get lost, well, there are some people who should probably avoid that hike. People who have vertigo might avoid certain sections of the hike. You do get next to a cliff at a certain point. And people who just are going to be completely blown out. If you're not sure-footed, that's not a hike for you. But it is a great place to go if you are. And if you need exercise and you don't know what to do and you've been in Tbilisi a while, say you have to be here for a week or two, hey, go take a hike on Mtatsminda. And Mtatsminda is a Georgian word that means holy mountain. So go climb the holy mountain. Well, thanks for coming along with me. This is Byrne for Georgian Crossroads, telling you to stay safe and healthy and sane during this strange pandemic season. From Tbilisi, Georgia, this is Byrne saying Droebit, which means temporarily. I'll be back in a while. See you later.